I see you.
Welcome, everyone, to a beautiful day. Today is Wednesday, I presume. I don't know what day it is. You are in good company. I wanted to tell you that you're not alone. But see, because this seems to be something that is going around right now, where people are feeling alone, right? They're feeling lonely. They're feeling as if they don't have anybody they can rely upon. But then I'm reminded of that scripture: when my father and mother forsake me, the law will take me up. There is a reason why I'm saying this to you today. When you allow, or when we allow our feelings to rule us, we will do things. And those things may not always be helpful. And I'll be talking about it later in greater depth today with Lance on For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And that's at 11 a.m. Eastern. So I'll be going really into depth with it there. But to touch on it here this morning, the reason why you want to be in the position to catch those emotions, especially the emotion or the feeling of loneliness. You see, you have been given the law. You've been given the law, and the law is telling you, I know you feel lonely, but you can create friends. I want you to look at that. You may feel lonely, but you have the capacity right now, the capability to create friends. Whereas if you look out into the world and you allow the sensation of loneliness to overwhelm you because you feel, I don't know, boxed in somehow, you're no longer in control. It does not matter what the situation is. The law is telling you you can create what it is you require. That's what it's telling you. It is giving you the confidence, the reassurance. That's what it does. So I know it might look and feel lonesome, but if you apply the law, you can create friends. Why is this important? It's important because if you feel lonely, perhaps you may compromise who you are to accommodate anybody just so you don't have to be alone. But the law is telling you, you don't have to compromise who you are. How about you recreate who you are? And that will be your friend. After all, is that not what we do with the law of gender? We project what it is we are creating from our conscious minds to our subconscious minds, and we get an experience. So, the type of friend that you want to create is solely based on you. Do you see now how you can never be alone? You can recreate yourself. Of course, in society, we procreate ourselves, yes, to pass on the genetic line. But by way of law, you can recreate yourself, which means you sit there and you decide the kind of person that you are. The reason I am saying this to you today is to plant the seed that you have it within you to recreate. That's what you have the capacity to do. Perhaps we have forgotten. Perhaps we have forgotten. But this is your reminder. If you say today, oh, you know what? I'm feeling so lonely. I'd like to make new friends. It's the same as if you go shopping. You purchase what it is that you like to eat. Of course, if you have small, picky children, that's another can of worms. That you purchase what they like to eat too. But it rests on you. And that is a very good thing. Could you imagine feeling lonely and being able to do nothing about it? Not a good thing. But that's why the reminder, you have the capacity and the capability to recreate yourself based upon who you are, always. I like this, I like this, I like that. Okay, so that's how you build your ideal friendship. But you see, now it will come down to, do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? This is, I don't know, this has been bugging me for a little bit because I hear it a lot. I do. But take confidence in knowing that you have what it takes. Just spend that time there to figure it out. It's not like you're putting together a piece of IKEA furniture. Like, that's a whole nother ball game. When you open the instruction, it gives you the figure of two people. So you're going to need two people. What if you don't have two people? Well, sometimes IKEA will put these things together for you for free and deliver it, depending on where you are, for free. So you see, you're never at a loss. This is what I'm trying to show you today. I know the world may say, well, you know how it is. You're by yourself. Mm, that's what the world says. But what does the law say? Of course, it takes a little bit to get your head around because we spent so much time believing that we are alone. But we are not. You're in great company. Whose company is that? I am. That's whose company you are in. The master creator. The all. That's whose company you are in. And it teaches you to do what it does. Create. So test it out. Test it out. It's amazing what people do when they feel a particular way. Right? So take your time with it and recognize that you have the ability to recreate yourself. As within, so without. That's what you're doing. As within, so without. You are projecting something outward. It is a beautiful thing, right? You get out the law of polarity and you acknowledge where you are now and what you are doing. And then you decide where you would like to go and what you would like to be doing. What is your preference? But what if they don't like me? Do you see what fear does? It causes you to shrink. And it keeps you actually alone. Hmm. That's what fear does to us. So this morning, let us be bold and let us test out our hypothesis is a theory you can test. Test your hypothesis. Can I really create a friend? Can I really create a friend? Well, no time like the present. Let me get my pen and paper out. Who am I? I like this, and this. Well, then, so will they. And when you come across them, the first thing you'll say is, oh my God, we have so much in common. Well, you created them. That's why you have so much in common, because they are a reflection of you. As Neville Goddard says, everybody is you pushed out. You see, but everybody is you pushed out means there's simply one consciousness, there's simply one awareness. That's what it means. Because sometimes you encounter people and you're like, that is not me. That is not me. Everybody is you pushed out is the fact that there's one consciousness. It may look like George, but there's only one consciousness. See? Yes, it might be challenging. But the challenging part, truthfully, is getting the mind in the right place. And how do you get your mind in the right place? By using polarity. Where do you want to be? Now that's where you focus the mind after you have acknowledged where you are and what you're doing. Because then when you set your eyes or your heart or your intention upon where it is you want to be and what you want to be doing, well, then you'll get up and you'll do it. And now what? You are polarized. Your mind is set where? On that particular destination. This is what we do all day, every day already. You didn't even know that your GPS was modeled after law. Everything is governed by law. What do you do with a GPS? It will locate you, first of all, where you are, and then it will say, please enter your destination. You enter your destination, and you will get the fastest route, or route, depending on where you're from. The thing with the least amount of stops. That's what you'll get from where you are to where you want to be. Right? It works everywhere. It doesn't matter what you can think of, it works everywhere because everything is governed by law. And the beauty of the law is it tells you every cause has its effect and every effect its cause, which means you can get yourself in or out of any situation simply by modifying the cause. It's giving you the keys to freedom on a daily basis. And if you say, but Angela, I'm still unsure of what to do, your pen and paper will bring you clarity. If that's what you do, if that's what you use it for, it'll bring you clarity. Because when you can see it and read it, you're like, oh, that is what I'm doing. Okay, I see it. That's it. That's what you use it for. Every and any situation. That's what it is. Even if you sit there and say, I don't know what to cook today. Well, it's going to ask you, well, what do you like? What do you like? What do you have a taste for? You see, there's always a solution. That's what you take comfort in. You see how the peace of mind comes? When you recognize and you remember there is always a solution. Always a solution. That's what it gives you on a daily basis. You put your mind in the right direction. Are you looking at the problem and magnifying it? Or are you gazing at the problem because you're looking for the seed of the solution that is within it? Those are two separate things. Take your time today and assess where you are. You already know how you feel, but the feeling is not fact. The feeling is telling you where you are polarized. The feeling is telling you where you are polarized. And you have a decision to make. Is that where you want to be polarized? Because that's what the feeling is asking. Is that where you want to be polarized? But what do? We look at that feeling and we take it as fact, and then we fight, or then we argue, or we complain, when that is not what it is asking of you. It is asking you where you want to be. Is this it? And depending on how that thing feels, if you're feeling unsure, what is it that you would like to be sure of? Because if you're feeling unsure, sometimes the natural response is to not do anything because, well, I don't know what to do. But if you interpret the feeling, it is asking you, what would you like to do? You already know that you're unsure, but what would you like to be sure of is what you're being asked. This is how we use feelings. We interpret them and then we act according to the interpretation. That's what we do. So you see, you and I are always in a position to free ourselves. Again, it does not matter what that external circumstance looks like. The external circumstance is a projection. That external circumstance did not get there by chance. I read somewhere, it says it's your fault that your life is this way. And I thought to myself, yikes, you couldn't have found a better way to say that to somebody? Fault brings about blame and guilt and shame. But when you say, you know what? This situation that you're dealing with is a result of an action that you did back in the day. You may not have been at fault for the action because you were unaware. But what do you want to do now? Do you want to be free of it? That is how you approach the situation. But we like to judge, don't we? We like to judge. But just take a moment to assess where you are and then decide, is this appropriate for me? Now you can make a choice. If it's appropriate, as you were. If it is not appropriate, where would you prefer to be? And that's why I tell you, even though you might feel a particular way, what do the facts say? Pardon me, what does the law say? Let's take a moment to welcome everyone to the space, shall we? Hey, mug, 45. I see you here on Twitter. I know Jeff, I'll shout him out because I know he works really early. So, and then there's Lilith and Cuddles, all part of the replay gang. Here on Twitter, I see you all. Fanbase. Oh, KZ, Miss McQueen Flows, Smiles, Matthias, Yolanda, Zola. I see you all here. I do. Now, who's on Facebook, Indy, and YouTube? Ah, Cyber, Mama Love, Empress Ella Queen, Red Pill Master Glam. Hello. Those are the ones who've made themselves known in the chat. For the others, I still see you because the number is there. And then for the replay gang, I see you as well. Let's see. Mama Love says, wow, I just had a massive penny drop. Loving this guidance teaching. Well, listen, that's the best part of the law. It sheds light on many a dark corner. That's what it does, right? It surely does. It sheds light on many a dark area. And it doesn't shed light to beat you up. It sheds light so that you can see your way forward. That's what it does. Right? But you see, most of us in this society, we begin to think, oh, I'm going to be punished. I'm so scared the universe is against me. No. Look at the law. I want you to, mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. Correspondence, as within, so without, as above, so below. Everything, what? Vibrates. Everything moves. Nothing stands still. And it moves between two poles, polarity, not because they are opposite. They are facing each other, two things that are the same. And it is only the rate of vibration that shows you where you are in the pole. And that pole now begins to swing in a what? A rhythm. An ebb and a flow. Because every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. Gender, a projection, masculine, of your intention into your what now? Your subconscious mind, or the womb of creation. Feminine, it receives the projection and says, copy, copy. Now you get it back as an effect. And that effect will cause you to do something else. See, if you look at those laws, do you see anywhere in there that you are meant to be punished? That you are meant to be trapped? When you find it, you let me know. You'll be looking for eternity because it's not there. The law frees you. Yes, Queen Red Pill, free yourself. I see you. Feel. Right? There is a sense of peace that we feel. And that feeling is always going to show you where you are in polarity. Always is going to show you that. Mama Love, she says, I had never thought to ask, what are my emotions asking of me before? That has given me a new perspective that can help a lot of people. But of course, the emotion is showing you something. It is not telling you how to behave. It is showing you something about yourself. That's what it's doing every single time. That's why if you say, I feel lonely, what is that feeling telling you about yourself? Well, you know, I'm dealing with that fear of rejection. I'm dealing with abandonment. Ah, all right. Now you can do something with that. Now you can do something with that. Because if you think about it, if you don't interpret what that emotion is telling you because you feel lonely or because you feel that fear of rejection, well, now you won't make friends because you don't want them to leave you, thereby doing what? Keeping you alone. And then what will you say? You see, I have no one. That's what you'll say because the fear is keeping you bound. But polarity says, where are you now and what are you doing? Why? It's not that polarity cares, because polarity does not have a feeling, it is not a body, it is a principle, it is a law. It is showing you your way forward, or it is showing you where you are now. And again, not because it cares, but because that is the design of the law, to create freedom, because it is free. It's freedom itself, so it can only recreate itself. So when you look at the law, that's what you see on a daily basis. This, if applied, if applied, it will change your life from the inside out. Well, it is law, is it not? As within, so without. It is a very beautiful thing. It soothes you. It comforts you. It reassures. It does all of those things. And those are all of the things that we struggle so much to just get those things in life. Security. The law brings all of that. It does. But sometimes we get caught up in how can I make this person do that? And that's a question I see all the time. How do I get them? It's not about them. Each person is governed by law. It is not about them, it's about you. Oh, but Angela, isn't that narcissistic? No. But later on, with Lance, I'll be discussing what is narcissistic. Here's a sneak peek for you. We were talking about this today, or last night, my son and I. Which would you prefer? To be focused and learn and grow and cultivate yourself to be the best? Because think about it. When you become your best self, well, you can only recreate from there, can't you? But if your focus is to control and make everybody else bend to you, you are the victim, not them. You are. Because you only ever seek to control someone or something because you are afraid. Oh, it looks like it's power. Oh, it sure does look like it. It looks like it's power. But in actuality, you're just cowering in the corner. Oh, snap. That actually just flashed me back to that episode of Demon Slayer, where this one demon was all the emotions, right? And you had to get rid of them. You had to kill them. Demon Slayer. And he says, but why are they not leaving? And that's when he realized there was a main one that he could not see. And when he found it, it was really small, and it was like, please, please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. That's all it would do. And you're looking at this thing and you're like, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You look like you're fighting your enemy, when in actuality, it is just the fear that is controlling the whole thing. But again, that's later on this morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I don't want to go into it here. That's not what this is for. But it is to show you, however, which part, Queen Red Pill, because I said a lot. I don't know what I don't know what it is. But if you take that time to assess where you are, you will begin to walk through this world at peace, Why would you walk through this world at peace if you take the time to assess? Because now you're not being ruled by emotions. You're not being ruled by them. You are the interpreter of them. They bend to you and your will. Ah, but that's it. Listen, because I keep hearing the word narcissist. Even my mother says that word now. I'm like, what? This word has made it all the way to Barbados? Seriously? Listen, a narcissist is simply someone who is afraid. And it is that fear that will cause them to hurt other people. Period. There's no more to tell you other than that. That's why you've got to begin to see it for what it is. When you see it for what it is, it cannot control you. But that's another day. So you understand today, you are in great company. You are in the presence of I am the all. That's where you are. And in that presence is the fullness of joy. Where is Ruby? Well, Cyber, you would know the scripture too, so you could tell me. Now there's two resident Bible people in the mix, Cyber and Ruby. In the presence of the Lord, there's fullness of joy. Fullness of joy? Yes. Because now when you look out into the world, you're not seeing people. I had to say to somebody the other day, there was one martyr in the world. Only one. There was only one martyr. Only one. And you were not it. That's what I had to say. Because that's what we do. Oh, but if I don't do it this way, I'll sacrifice myself on this hill just so I can. And we look at it as if we are being kind to that other person, when in actuality, we are being unkind to ourselves. Martyr, the one martyr, was Jesus. Allegedly, based upon the Bible stories. That was the one martyr. Right? Just one. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. You have everlasting life. Why? Because the Spirit prevails. It cannot be destroyed. It can't be destroyed. Only the flesh can be, but not the Spirit. So you already have eternal life. Why martyr yourself for someone else for less? They can't give you anything better than immortality. There is a difference between being kind and helping someone and cutting your nose to spoil your features. Those two things are not the same. You must see what drives them, what's beneath them, what is the cause of why you act the way you do. I'll give you my last. Because if I give my last, you'll like me. People will think that I'm nice. You don't give your last because you can always recreate more. But you also teach them that they no longer have to beg either. Now you're making a change. Jeff, darling, I see you. Does this make any sense to you today? You are in the presence of greatness. That's what you are. You're in great company. Well, begin to move like it, speak like it, act like it. Because you are in the presence of the all, you are seeing the part that matters most about the all, how it does what it does. We don't know why, because the all is self moving. It does what it wants. So we don't know why. All in time, I presume we shall come to know why. But we know what and how. It creates using its mind. It is limitless. So too are you. So today, whatever it is that you think you feel like, listen, the feeling is valid. It's there, it's in your body, it's telling you something. Interpret it. It's not telling you how to behave, it is telling you what you are looking at and asking you, is this what you would like? Hmm. So you see, my beautiful friends, we have everything. We do, you know. We sure do. And sometimes when you feel helpless or sad or lonely, remember that feeling is telling you something. What is it telling you about you? It's not judging you, it's just telling you, hey, check this out. And then you get to decide. You've been given the keys to the kingdom. Well, you don't give the keys to the kingdom to a slave, do you? No, but you give the keys to the kingdom to the sovereign. You have the keys. You have the keys. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, and gender. If one of those jumps out at you, mind you, you can't separate them. There are one. It's just one. But if one of those jumps out at you, and you say, well, this is the one I remember the most, well, just rest assured that when you use that one, you're using them all. Learn to use them and apply them. What a beautiful question. Can feelings be caused by external stimuli? How am I going to answer that question? Can they be caused by external? As within, so without. What is in you, you get to see it on the outside. Does that make sense, Mama Love? If that thing that you see on the outside has triggered you, stimuli, such a nice word. If it stimulates you, it's better than trigger, isn't it? If that thing on the outside stimulates you, you must have some kind of memory. You must have some kind of experience with it that is already within you. Right? But what if it's abject horror, Angela? We've seen plenty of that, have we not? That's how you know what it is. That's how you know what you're looking at, because you have some kind of, you've, what's the word, you've parlayed with it, you've parried with it before. Right? You've had some kind of interaction. That's how come you know what it is. Elaborate, Cyber. The pearl. Elaborate. Does that make sense, Mama Love? So, in order to reduce, because this is the other part, how do you limit the stimuli or take charge of the feeling? You be the one. You be the one to project outward. We are all projecting outward, all 8 billion of us, right? So, if what I'm projecting outward soothes and calms and brings light and love and all that ooey gooey goodness, then great. But if what I'm projecting outward, because remember, what are you projecting outward? Are you having that argument in your head? Well, then you have to encounter people who are also arguing. The outside, mama love, bends according to you because you are the one shaping it. Mama love, does that make sense? So that is how you limit the stimuli or take charge of the feeling, by recognizing that the exterior is bending because of you. And that's not a bad thing. That's a very good thing because now you get to decide, oh, how is that going to be today? How am I going to mold and shape my world? Well, that depends on you. But it's just all in the matter of how you say it to somebody. You know, a spoonful of sugar. That part. Ooh, where's Shanice? Oracle Tree House. Does that make sense? You are the one. Listen, according to science, each planet, it has a mass and it bends things. It bends, and that's what draws things to it. We do exactly the same thing. Our awareness of who we are bends and shapes the world around us. For example, if because I was the queen of arguing, man, you can't argue. You still can't argue better than me. I will fight. That was then. I remember when I used to, right? But now it's different. I used to argue. So that means I had to encounter everybody else who was having a bad day and they were arguing. But now I've got a little bit more inner peace. So when I go out into the world, even if somebody's a little bit cranky or persnickety, they, not because I'm controlling them, but because me, I am bending where I am. So now you can't come unless I call you, which means so long as I have that inner peace, whoever I encounter will end up with inner peace. That's how we limit the stimuli or take charge of the feeling, Mama Love. You can let me know if that makes sense to you. I just said that to you. I said that whole gravity thing and remembered my child and what he said to me. I shan't repeat it here. It's funny. Every time I think about it, it's funny because it is. It's hilarious. Just know that it is. Cyber says, the pearl of great price. Your imaginings are the sole cause of everything you experience. Neville's most important lecture. You have to sell all to buy the pearl, so nothing else can be the cause. Indeed. When you recognize that you are the one molding and shaping the world around you. And that's why I like the way he said it. The pearl of great price, as opposed to, man, your life is your fault. You did that. You did that. That's your problem. That's so harsh. Ain't nobody's gonna change from that. But if you tell someone, listen, how do you want your world to go? How do you want your life to be? Of course, they're gonna tell you, I don't have control of that. Well, in the beginning, you did not, because you were under the care of someone, but you are no longer under the care of someone. You are sovereign. You're not this wee babe in arms. Not anymore. So now you get to decide. You do. You get to decide how you're going to bend. But you see, we think the world bends because we force the world to bend. That is not the case. The world bends because we bend. The world bends because we bend. That's why you can't force anybody or anything to do what you want unless they give you that permission. And how do we do it? We say, here, take my money. That's what we say. We say, take it. Because we don't know what we're giving away. The pearl of great price. We don't know what we are giving away. We do not know. But they know what they're taking. Oh, snap. Again, that's for later this morning. I trust today made sense to you. So, wherever you find yourself, so long as you deem it undesirable for you to be in that particular thing, now polarity says, where are you now and what are you doing? Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? And begin to write the list out. Why? Because when you see clearly, you can move in that direction. That's where you're polarizing yourself. It doesn't matter what your problem is. It doesn't, because the seed of the solution is in it. You just have to know what you're looking for. Here's an example. Oh no, my feet are bare. My problem is that I'm barefoot. What is the solution? If your feet are bare, then you must clothe them in what? Shoes. Problem, barefoot. Solution, shoes. The problem is naked. Well, depends on who's asking. Naked is great. Well, the solution would be clothing. Mama Love says preach. She says preach because I said, take my money. That's what we do. When you recognize your value, right? Hear me well. When you recognize your value, you will not so readily relinquish it. But you know what will cause you to relinquish your value? An uninterpreted emotion. Oh my God, I'm so lonely. If I don't do what they say, they're gonna leave me. See that emotion right there? It is a feeling. So what's the problem? The problem is not that you're lonely. What's the problem? I don't have friends. Or I don't have family. Or I don't have a community to be a part of. That's the problem. So what's the solution? Create friends, create a community. How? By first recognizing who and what you are. Pardon me. When you recognize who and what you are, now you can build the community. Remember, you are bending you and shaping you so that what happens? That thing finds you. Because when you're molding and shaping yourself, you are doing what? You are putting out a projection, and that projection has to bring something back. It's like a bird. I'm really bad. Then I hear the birds outside. I will imitate them, and I usually go, caw, caw. I'm so bad. And my son will just crack right up. He's like, oh, mother. He goes, Mom, really? I'm like, yeah. You put the call out when you mold and shape yourself. You're saying, caw. There has to be a response because every cause has an effect. So the tone of that, caw, the tone of that will determine what comes back. So you see your power now? When you recognize the power that you have, you will stop giving it away. Well, they have their own power. Let them use their own. But again, that's for later on today. I had to take a sip of water. I trust that makes sense for you, my beautiful friends, today because, hmm, hey, Meep, Indy. See, Indy girl, I had already called your name, honey. Uh, oh, hello, Jay. Jay says, you rang? Uh, that's why I forget who. Cyber, help me out. Remember, this person said to Neville, you could not have come had I would not be here unless you called me. Cyber, you know what I'm talking about. I don't remember, but that's the part I remember, right? Queen Red Pill says, hit that like button. So today, it is not that the situation you are in is irrelevant. Oh, it is very relevant because you're going through it. The reason why it is irrelevant is because it cannot dictate who and what you are. You call the shots. And you call the shots by knowing the law. Shea butter. You call the shots by knowing the law. Wow. How do I want this to go? Well, then you begin to move with it, lean with it, rock with it the way you want it to go. That's what you say. That is exact. Sorry, I just remembered again what this crazy child of mine said to me, and I had to laugh because not everybody may think it's funny, but I think it is. But does it make sense to you today? You are the one. I just flashed to Neo. He says, "Why?" She goes, "You are the one, Neo." And he says, "What if I fail?" And she says, "Then Zion will fall." Who's Zion? Pray tell. You. Your very essence, your core. You. And we're walking around here like, I'm so unworthy. Come on, man. That's not how you walk through this world. No. The law says, as within, so without. So make it good. What do you want on the outside? Then be it on the inside. That is what the law is telling you day in and day out. Well, those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Right? You have it. Just spend some time with yourself and put it together. And you'll notice, right? You'll notice that with the law, when Neville Goddard says, the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. That part right there, that part right there. That part, that part. What is it? Do you want the best for you? Well, then, if you want the best for you, remember, it has to come out of you first. So, who's going to be affected first? You. So, if you wish ill on someone, who's going to be affected first? Hmm. You. So, that saying, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, has nothing to do with the other person. It has to do with you, not them. That's why it is a love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you see how you're free? Do you see how you are free? Now you see, if you don't know that you're free, you gonna act a fool. You gonna act like mm, you're not free. When all along, you just had to come to the understanding that you are free. And every day that you apply the law, no situation is insignificant or too big or too small. Why is that? Because it is you. So how can it be insignificant? How can it be, oh my God, that's so small. Oh, look, a parking space. Oh, that's so small. Stop judging the situation. Now, here's another beautiful question. Mama Love asks, what if others challenge your sovereignty or try to block your free will? What if others challenge your sovereignty? Well, let me see if I can explain it. In well, as within, so without. Let's always start there. When you walk in your sovereignty, right? You're going to come across other people because there's 8 billion people on the planet. 8 billion people. And I know we want to say challenge your sovereignty. But remember what they're doing. They're not challenging your sovereignty. They're trying to protect their own. It is always going to be a projection. If we remember that, when somebody comes at you trying to fight, offense or defense, they're defending themselves. From what? The fear of attack, not you. They are afraid. This is why they lash out. So it's not that they're challenging your sovereignty, they're trying to protect their own. Now, if you engage, well, now you're going to have to protect your own sovereignty because now you're in a fight, right? Mama Love, does that make sense? I know we see it in the animal kingdom all the time. I just saw it yesterday. I forget the name. We're watching Prehistoric Planet, by with David Attenborough. And the one guy, he's not a guy, he's a dinosaur. He was young and spry. And the other guy, well, he had all the breeding rights. And this young whippersnapper was like, I need to get me some of that. You're an old man. You've served your time. It's my turn. And he fought with him and defeated him. Well, we're not fighting for breeding rights, people. Right? That's what it is. Ah, thank you, Jay, the father. Neville Goddard, this is the lecture from September 23rd, 1968. We are told no one comes to me unless my father calls him. So who's the father? Who's the father? You. Let that linger for a moment. Cyber says, well, I wish bad on others sometimes, more so eagerly awaiting their bad karma to unfold. I always snap myself out of it, though. Neville says to condemn the state, never the person. How apt, right? How appropriate is that? You see, we are human, and we have learned how to deal with emotions from way back in the day, you know? And so the whole point is not to judge, but to catch yourself when you're doing it. You catch yourself when you're doing it. And when it's a, I'm not a fan of the condemn the state part, but understand the state. Understand why they're in that state because they are projecting who they are. And when you understand that part, now you become a little bit compassionate to say, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, I see. That's what you'll say. Mama Love. She says another penny drop moment. That makes a bunch of sense. Oh, Mama Love, apply. That's all. Apply the law. That's all it is. Right? So I trust it makes sense to you today because look at where we are. Sometimes we feel like we're being challenged on every corner. But again, I will encourage you to come out to it today if you can. You know what? I have the link, but it's way across the room in my phone. I'm going to post it in the community tab so that, or even if I'll post it on Discord, I'll post it in Telegram if you're there. Um, but I'll definitely do it in the community tab on YouTube so that you can come to that today, where Lance will ask me questions about what's happening in the world, right? And I will show you the law. Let me tell you something. You want to be there for that one, or you want to catch the replay, because a lot of things will begin to make a lot of sense as to why we behave the way we do as people and how we can break free of it. I want to break free. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Right? I trust it makes sense. So that is your word today. Countdown. Oh, hello, King Key. Hey, I haven't seen you in like forever, King Key. It's been a long time. Well, it's good to see you, darling. It really is good to see you here on Twitter. Because it is through you, King Key, that I met Cuddles. Yes. See? Mm. Anywho, countdown initiated. Oh no, King Key. Listen, honey. You can the last remnants of gravy from the bowl is always going to be on YouTube because I have one pair of hands. So I close everything. That's the last thing I close, and usually there's more gravy to, dip the bread in, or dip the gravy in for the bread. You know what I'm saying. I'm all discombobulated. Anywho, I love you all. Thank you for being here today on Twitter. So you can pop over to my YouTube, Kinky. You sure can. All of you can. So I'm gonna catch y'all later. Tomorrow's what? Thursday, is it? Yes, because it says Wednesday on my iPad. Yes, tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be here. But remember, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Lance Scurv. I'm gonna post that link for y'all because I have the link. Actually, hold on. Hold on a minute. I'll post that link shortly, but I know where I'm at. Oh, really, Mama Love? You were singing that Queen song? Oh, look, what a coincidence. Tongue in cheek, sarcasm, because there is no coincidence. Just like we were reminded, couldn't have come unless I called you. You were singing it, that's why I sang it. See? Hey, that's how it is. Oh, oh, wait. Yes, beautiful.
Hi, lady. Miss you so much.
Aw, indeed.
Yeah.
It's good to see
Yeah,
you.
but you have me cracking up. But yeah, it's always good to hear you and your wisdom.
Aw, thank you for being here. I've missed you lots as well.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. And yes, I have. Aw, see, you guys are totally the sweetest. You totally are. All right, y'all. I'm going to close Twitter, but you know where to find me. 5, 4, 3. Love you, Twitter. I love you. I can see my child's facial expressions right now. God. Yeah, totally love you guys. Twitter is closed. Fanbase, thank you all for being here on a lovely day and for your love. Thank you. Miss McQueen, KZ, Flo, Smiles, Matthias, Yolanda, Zola. You know, I did miss my summer rose and smoking today. I sure did. But I'm going to see y'all later. Oh, Jay. Jay, is it nighttime? I keep remembering. Listen, you are down under. So is Cyber, as a matter of fact. You're both down under. Let me pop into the chat because let me see. Go there and go there. I'm gonna post the link for you. I'm gonna post the link. Go here and go share. Copy link. Now I'm gonna go there and go in here. And hey KZ. Uh hey Zola, Sugar Visions. I just reminded myself. Dun, 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 dun. You know that show. You know that show. Let me see if I can pin it. Do I know how to pin it? Pin message. Oh, snap. I just pinned a message. That is the link for today at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's right, since Yolanda, honey, yes, girl, that was Sanford and Son. Hold on, Elizabeth. Sorry. Yes, I love that show. But that's what I wanted you guys to know today. Take joy in the fact that hmm, you're not a prisoner. You're not a prisoner. You're free. You are sovereign. But if you don't know that you're sovereign, well, then, as I said, we begin to act a fool. We begin to behave in such a way. It's like, that's not how a sovereign behaves. But when you know that you're sovereign, that's where the difference. Listen to it. When you know that you are sovereign, not when you believe you're sovereign. You have to know that you are sovereign. What makes you sovereign? Well, the fact that the law governs all. That's one reason. And two, the law governs all. The law governs every single one of us and only has eyes for you. Why? Here's looking at you, kid. That's what the law does. If it's just looking at you and how you behave, that's what confirms your sovereignty. It doesn't judge you, it doesn't punish you, it doesn't reward you. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for it. When you get a reward, right? Depending on how big the reward is, you get this dopamine hit to match. And then what happens? You become addicted to, oh, you got to get that hit, don't you? But the law does not put you in bondage. It says, do this, this will happen. Period. No feelings or emotion involved. Why? Because it doesn't want you to be manipulated. It doesn't want you to compromise who you are. How can I be so sure? Because it asks you, where are you now? What are you doing? Where do you want to be? And what do you want to be doing? It's not asking you what you feel like. Why? Because they will cloud the eyes, man. They'll cloud the eye, whereas judgment will blind the eye. So when you recognize, oh, if I do this, this will happen. But that brings peace. That keeps you even, as opposed to being on a roller coaster with emotions. Think about it. If I punish you, how are you going to act? Well, you're going to do things to avoid punishment, but you won't be your real self. And if you want that reward, you'd be willing to do anything for it, thereby still compromising yourself. But the law always says, be your true and best self. Begin to move of your own volition, not how you are marionetted to move. Look at the law for yourself and you'll see it. Now, do you know that you're sovereign? Hmm. The better man, are you here today? Because I know sometimes with the chat it can be a little sticky, but I see you. I trust it makes sense to you today. I trust that it does. Because when you know that you're sovereign, you don't walk around with a big stick. No, you don't. Why? Because you have no fear. Well, how can you banish fear? That's a tall order, isn't it, Angela? No, cause and effect. If you do this, this will happen. Is it unknown? No, it isn't unknown. Because if you know the cause, you can do what now? Predict the effect. Yeah. So you see, at every turn, the law is setting you free so that you can be your best self. Always. Not best in comparison to someone else, but your best. Think about how comparison makes you feel. Oh no, I'm not good enough. They're so much better than me. Like, totally so much better than me. Oh, snap. The law releases you from that. So today, start walking in your freedom. Hmm? You are encouraged to do so. Walk in your freedom. That there's nothing else to tell you. You have to walk in that knowing, so that when a situation arises and you say, "Oh my God, I feel," you're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what do I feel?" And then you say, "Assessing, assessing, assessing." That's what you say. And then you see what you've assessed. You go, "Ah, I know how to deal with this," and then you act accordingly, right? Listen, when you begin to know this, then you know a thing. Well, then, you know it. You've experienced it. Nothing will change your life like that. To know it? Oh, snap. To know a thing. Mm. Like when I made those pretzel buns on the weekend. I'd never encountered dough like that. Normally, dough is, you can bend it and move it and whatever. It doesn't really stick to you. But pretzel dough, it's it's almost like silly putty in a way. Almost. You've got to be able to ply it, to bend it and shape it. So it's a lot softer than other doughs, bread dough. So I that was a learning experience for me. I was like, what is this? Did I do something wrong? And I went back through the method and I said, I did everything according to plan. Yeah, I followed the recipe. What's the recipe? The law is the recipe. And so my pretzel buns turned out beautifully. Oh, they sure did. My son's like, Mom, are you sure they're good? And I was like, is he for real? He's like, Mom. He goes, I'm going to try one. And I was like, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Oh, but they are tasty. And you know what I just discovered as well? This thing called everything bagel seasoning. Is that what it is? Girl, let me tell you. I was like, where has this thing been my whole life? It is tasty. I didn't even know it was a thing. Yes, and now I bought a container of it because somebody's got to make pretzels now. Not just pretzel buns, but pretzels themselves. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, indeed. Listen, do what you enjoy doing and take pleasure in the fact that you are free. And no one can take your freedom from you. The only way they can get it is if you give it. And with that, my beautiful friends, I bid you adieu. Click on that link and say, notify me, so at least you can catch the replay. Because, as per usual, Lance's questions will be on fire. I got to bring my A game. I got to be really tuned in to answer these questions because it's the world that we're living in and people are seeking to understand it, you know? So I didn't even know this is the fifth one we're doing. Today is episode number 5. I was like, we've been doing this for 5 weeks already? Oh, snap. Yes, we have been. But you know how to find me. Yes, just click on the link tree and you can either email me or follow me on any of my social media. You can send a donation if you feel inclined, or you can sign up for a membership for starting at 99 cents a month if you feel so inclined, if you like the work that we do. It's all good. And if you would like extra coaching, you can come for that too. That's also there. And if you say, but Angela, I can't afford that, still come anyway. What am I going to say to you? No, I cannot help you because you have nothing with which to pay me. I can't help you. Oh, come now. Teach a man to fish, and he will eat for a lifetime. That is what I do. So, you have no excuses. You got no excuses. If you want the help, it is here. Right? Because then you'll be like one of many in my DMs telling me, oh my God, Angela, you won't believe what happened. You won't believe how I've changed. And I will sit there with my bowl of confetti and I will sprinkle confetti as you tell me because I have to behave surprised. But I know the law, so they earned me surprises. Once you apply it, the only outcome is success for you. So that's why I will throw confetti, right? And then when I throw confetti, you'll tell your friends, "Oh my God, my whole life changed," because they'll see you differently. They'll be talking, "You're different. Like, what are you doing? Did you change your hair?" No, and you'll be like, "My hair? I didn't change my. Are you wearing a different like foundation?" Nope. You got them edges laid. Nope. But you'll know what it is. You'll be walking around singing that song. You light up my life. That's what you'll be singing about the law. Like Julie Andrews on the hill, twirling, singing about the law lighting up your life. That is a beautiful place to be. Beautiful place. Mm, I love you all. And I look forward to seeing you if you are available today at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do love you. I truly, truly do. Much love.